Within the state is the mechanism of the market. The market creates the state because of its interest in self-preservation, differential advantage, and the basic gaming strategy.
You're saying that the state is a natural outgrowth or part of the free market, and I'm saying the initiation of force is the opposite from voluntary trade. So you can tell me I'm incorrect if I've made a mistake in that. I'm certainly happy to hear it.
The market system's structural imposition for survival itself, in my view, unnecessarily, given the state of technology and our capacity to create an abundance, coerces all human beings to submit to labor for income and to engage in the act of trade whether they like it or not. It's not voluntary, and believe me, if it was voluntary, I would be fucking gone. I'd be on the hippie planet where people actually share ideas and resources and not act like spoiled children fighting over everything, okay?
How is voluntary trade coercive?
Because people have to trade in this system to survive unnecessarily.
That just seems to me like saying lovemaking is rape. It just seems like you're just jamming two opposite things together and calling them the same.
Because the act of trade itself is coercive.
And how is the act of trade coercive?
Because people have to trade in this system to survive unnecessarily.
They can go and live in the woods.
That's a wonderful point, and I think that's hilarious. I think it's great to look at a global economic system and decide that it's voluntary for people not to have to engage in the market system. So in the core root principle of voluntarism, it's thrown right out the window because the system is intrinsically coercive, okay? And that's a powerful point. There are fundamental psychological principles that are inherent to the market psychology. It goes back to my initial fallacy that I call the delusion of system-contrary moral imposition. And this idea of voluntarism and everything that goes underneath it, the non-aggression principle, all of it becomes moot in the wake of what this system is actually generating.
That's just a word salad. There's a difference, in fact, an opposite moral quality to the initiation of force, which is the state, and to voluntary free trade, which is exchange for mutual benefit.
You have literally ignored
saying that that's moot and that's impossible. You're not actually making a case for anything. You're just using a lot of adjectives. No, you're not proving anything.
I've given an enormous amount of evidence and argument towards a number of broad economic issues. You have ignored every single one of them. Let's jump into voluntarism, if you don't mind.
The free market is voluntary exchange, and the state is the initiation of force. These two are opposites. Exactly. It's like saying that lovemaking is rape or theft is charity. No. You're just mingling these two concepts together. The free market specifically repudiates the actions of the state, which is the initiation of force against usually legally disarmed citizens. So if you say, well, our current system is the free market, despite the fact that it's dominated by the state, which doesn't conform to any of the principles of the free market, I think is missing the point.
Well, I'm actually looking at the real world. I'm looking at the fact that, as I said earlier in the initial principles of fallacy, that the state is in fact an outgrowth, an arm of the power and differential advantage and gaming theory needs of the market itself. This is the free market. There are people behind the scenes in government that make an enormous amount of money in the context of market economics, in the context of trade, in the context of everything that you speak of, but they use the arm of the state to their advantage for their elitist purposes. Do I think that's right? Absolutely not. I would love, Stefan, to see the type of market that you talk about. The problem is it's impossible. There will always be a gravitation towards these power consolidations. Some of them may work for a little while, some of them may falter, but there will always be that propensity. And you're persisting with this tiny little box of economic idealism. And I don't use the same simplistic view as you do.
I would really appreciate it if you would stop calling my view truncated and simplistic. That's just a word salad. If you prove that my view is truncated and simplistic, you don't need the damn adjectives. Well, if you don't prove it, then it's just bullshit ad hominem yours.
Okay, no, I'm not trying to insult yours, and I'm sorry you interpreted that. When I say truncated, I'm
so simplistic and truncated are terms of respect. I see.
No, simplistic and truncated are qualifiable distinctions that I'm using in the associations
that I'm
creating.
Don't say it.
Well, I am.
Just prove it.
I am.
Prove it, don't say it. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you can keep stopping me from speaking by acknowledging that, or I can keep going. Is that can I talk?
No, I'm just asking you to lay off the ad hominem.
I am coming from a very serious position when I look at the flaws of this planet, and I cannot, when I use the term truncated and simplistic, I mean those in the most quantifiable, if that was even possible, terms. The state is an outgrowth of the market system because of its fundamental predicated premise. I don't know how many times I have to say that. If you can't see that, I don't know what to say.
That's just a word salad. Your system has become moot. Victory!